and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. I didn't really write anything out for this book because, I mean, it's tiny. It's a tiny book. I mean, it's taken me forever to do this review, but I finished it probably like 2 days after it came out. I mean, it's not like I said, it didn't take long to do. This book has been getting a lot of heat because to me, it was good. I enjoyed A Court of Frost and Starlight, but that's because I really love the characters in this book, in this series. If you don't know, A Court of Frost and Starlight, ACOFAS comes from the A Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J. Maas, and ACOFAS follows after the end of A Court of Wings and Ruin. But this book is not meant to be it's not really meant to be a continuation of that series, and it's not meant to be a standalone. It's like an extra epilogue. Like, that's kind of what this book is. It's like an extra epilogue that we had to wait months for. Maybe even years. But that's what this book is. And so you can't treat it as a continuation of A Court of Wings and Ruins. And you can't treat it as its own book. You have to just be like, okay, well, it's like extra information. Because basically what ACOFAS is this takes place after the battle, after the war. They are trying to rebuild themselves and rebuild their lives and also rebuild the Night Court and all of Prithian, and they're adjusting to the world with no wall, a world where humans truly know about the Fae and fairies and their abilities and things like that. They're dealing with, the queens and those humans who have basically, turned on them, and so they're dealing with the aftermath, obviously, of war. And so a lot of people are having problems with this book because it's like, but was it needed? And the answer is no, it's not needed. Of course it's not needed. Like, the whole point of it is to bridge it to the next series that Sarah J. Maas is going to do. I will say about this is that the last, you see how the pages kind of change? You see how the pages kind of change at the end here? Those are basically the only pages that need to be read. Because that is the most interesting part of it. It really brings, we all know the next series is really focusing on Nesta and Cassian, and it is those last, how many pages is this? It's those last, they aren't even numbered. So let's say about 20 to 30 pages. It's those last 20 to 30 pages was like the only thing that was truly needed in this book. That's what really kick-started and jump-started jump-starts the next series. I think a lot of people were waiting for this book was more about was more information about Morgan and, her reveal to Farah and what's going to happen with that. I feel like, there's a lot of people who preach a lot of LGBTQIA plus inclusion and diversity, things like that, but I feel like a lot of people on the outside are really trying to force the character that is more to come out, to be open with whom she is. But I feel like a lot of people just forget that she is 500 years old. She's over 500 years old, and she's been hiding a lot of this for 500 plus years without telling anybody until Farah comes along. And then she also, as if you've read the series, she's gone through a major trauma with fertility, with her family, basically thinking of her as a breeding pig or a breeding cow, and, a prized mare. And so I feel like we are trying to force her to do a lot, and I feel like that's what some people were trying to do with this. We're trying to do with this book. I don't really want to get into very much of like Farrah and Rhysand's relationship, because there's a lot of back and forth on if their relationship is healthy or not. And I sometimes just feel like we are always expecting a perfect relationship in books when we don't even have perfect relationships in life. And we expect our high lady and our high man, our high lady of the night court, and you know, our high elf or high fae to just be like a poster child for romance. But you know, they both have their own traumas, their own past, and their own history to contend with and to deal with, and I think they're both growing and healing on their own. This book also brings up what happened to Tamlin and Tamlin's spiral downwards. So it brings up a lot, you know. It brings up more with Az. We don't see enough. To me, I don't see enough of Elaine. Elaine, I don't feel like has gotten enough story about her and how she's doing and how she's healing. People are talking about Nesta and how Nesta's doing, when I always just feel like Nesta has always been a sister who is really not willing to work, but she's willing for Farrah to do it, and her turning into the Fae was not any different. I think it just enhanced those feelings, because in every fairy book everywhere, you know, if you are a fairy, you have enhanced emotions and this, that, and the other. And I feel like when she turned into a fae, it just enhanced those emotions up. Well, you know what? Farrah's going to take care of it, so I don't have to do anything. So she's still just not a self-sufficient individual. And like looking through comments, some people were like, well, why don't we talk about Nesta's trauma? She's been through a lot too. But it's like, she was acting like this before she'd been through a lot, and she's acting like this now afterwards too, and she still does not show support to Farrah in any way, shape, or form, with her being the youngest sister. But there's just so much. There's not really like much like plot line and storyline to break down, because it truly is just it's just a filler. It's a filler book. It is a book that we bought, that we garnered more sales for SJM with the rest of her books, you know, all 1,000 that she has. So we can't be mad about it. She gets to be happy about it. But do I think you need to read it? No, I don't think that you need to read it. If you want to talk about the last 20 to 30 pages in the comments or on my blog or on Twitter, in Instagram DMs, it doesn't matter. If you want to talk about the last 20, 30 pages just to figure out what happens in them, feel free to. I mean, I'll talk about them with you, so that way you just know the answer. So you know what to look forward to in the next book, because that is literally the best part about this. Other than that, it's just kind of like you see how small this is compared to, hold on, I gotta get things down without breaking it. Without breaking them. Compared to A Court of Wings and Ruin. And so, it is one of Sarah J. Maas's novellas. If you've read Tower of Dawn, you know how many books are in her, not Tower of Dawn, well, Tower of Dawn is her books. If you've read the Throne of Glass series, then you know how many books are in that series. And then on top of that, she also has novellas in between those books, which I haven't read any of them just because I have mixed reviews of Throne of Glass series, which I think I've said before. Hated the beginning of the series, loved the end of the series. This is a short version of it. So, but I mean, me as an adult woman, I love A Court of Thorns and Roses. I enjoyed A Court of Frost and Starlight. I don't feel like it answered all the questions that we wanted answered, but I do feel like the last 30 pages was worth it. Honestly, like I said in the beginning, it was just an extra epilogue. Don't treat it as its own book, because that'll make you mad. Don't treat it as a continuation of A Court of Wings and Ruin, because that'll make you even more mad. It is just fluff. It is filler. It is just filler. That's why it's like 30 pages. But anyway, if you read Akafas, I know this is a little all over the place. Like I said, I didn't write anything down. I just kind of talked about how I felt about this book. More people have like greater breakdowns of this book. I'm not going to gush over it. I'm not going to hate it. I'm somewhere in between. But anyway, if you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button down below. And if you are not already subscribed to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and hit that bell right next to it, so that way you know whenever I'm putting up a new video. Down below you will also see a link to a free TBR digital download that you can either write your own TBR, you can print it out and write your own TBR in, or you can make a digital version of it on your computer, iPad, or phone. You can type right into those places. I know I've said I don't like TBRs really to begin with, but I like them for the year. I don't like forcing myself to do it, but I like knowing what I want to read next, or else I forget. And don't forget to follow me on all of the socials, where you can see some more of my thoughts as well as some pictures of this beautiful book there. And until next time, keep turning the pages.